Hello and welcome to EBAday 2022. I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking here in Vienna, and I'm joined by Reda Bedjaoui of Privat, which is a digital alternative to private banking. Reda, hello.
Hello, Debbie. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's lovely to have you here in the studio. Private banking, digital private banking. Can you please set the landscape from your point of view?
It's a very challenging landscape in the sense that digital banking and private banking seems to be not really working together. It's fragmented, so you have digital banks today or neobanks. You have commercial banks doing tremendous effort to ease the flow of funds, but at the same time, private banks seems to be adverse to progressing and embrace digitalization. So we found ourselves in a situation where today individuals, corporates can open accounts in minutes, days at the maximum, all over the world. But in the private wealth sphere, it's still quite a level of sclerosis that you find yourself, where onboarding takes months. There is almost no tools for you to operate your accounts in a digital manner. So you still have to rely on your private banker, calls, emails, callback. All of this creates friction, and we are in the space of trying to remove this friction by providing digital tools, modern tools that have kind of revolutionized the financial world. So we are at the forefront of this, or trying to be, fighting the reluctance of the traditional players. But it's a very, very interesting market, and I think it's going this way, whichever way we look at it. That digitization is not going away. The movement is going to be moving forward and forward.
So do you think, you've mentioned these challenges, do you believe, and I'm assuming the answer is yes, but do you believe that technology is the answer in some way to these challenges?
There is no doubt about it. These private banks, these institutions will have to embrace technology. The tools are there and they're getting better and better, reliable. There's more competition in the tools, so the pricing is also going down. We have artificial intelligence powering most of these tools today, so they will have to embrace it, and if not, they will simply disappear. There is no way that in this age of time, with the rollout of modern technology like 4G and 5G, what COVID, the pandemic, has taught us of resilience and being able to operate remotely. So in the old world or the traditional world of private banking, you have to do everything in person. So you have to actually travel to meet your relationship manager, to meet your banker. And in this day and age, this is a concept that should be different. We've been operating remotely for 2 years, and it's a validation of the business model of digital banks. So they will have to embrace this or be replaced or made irrelevant. So in our case, what we bring is those tools to private wealth in general. They're modern tools. We're talking about electronic ID verification, electronic and digital onboarding, interaction through an app. Of course, we still have people manning these functions and helping the clients navigate through the tools that we have. But truly, all of it can be handled digitally, and it's just a question of education and access to these products.
I mean, private banks don't want to become irrelevant. And you've touched on a few things, but what do they need to move forward in this space?
It's a change of culture that is a necessity. Today they're quite entrenched in I would say, old concept of banking secrecy. So even though banking secrecy does not exist anymore, they try to adapt the concept and not to open themselves to what they see as competition. I do not see it as competition. I think it's a collaboration that is the key. So today they have to embrace the fact that there are new players, these players that should not be competitors but partners, to bring those tools, to bring those digital tools to their clientele. These clients are getting younger and younger, so there's a tremendous amount of transfer of wealth between generations. Whether it's new wealth or existing wealth, it's being transferred. And the new generation of the new high net worth individuals, they definitely want to use those modern technologies in order to operate. The last thing they want is to have to, again, travel, meet a banker that does not understand their needs, their way of doing business today, which is immediate, efficient, and transparent. So they will have to adapt and adopt these technologies. The best way to do it is to collaborate. And to collaborate, you have to open your mind.
Yeah, yeah. And collaboration is a word we hear about often. You know, I was watching some footage from the previous EBAday, and then it was, you know, they were stressing collaborate. But what I also find interesting is you talk about being collaborating and keeping an open mind and being creative. So thinking about creativity and looking ahead to the future, how do you think things are going to change? How do you see things in this space for the future?
I'm going to reminisce and bring you back to EBAday in Dublin 5 years ago. It was my first time attending EBAday, and I remember the head of transactional banking of a major player in the industry saying quite candidly, we are making 50 million transactions per day. Who's going to take that from us? Well, 5 years down the line, you have a lot of players in the periphery that, of course, they have not taken or made only a small dent to what these transactional mega players are doing, but still they process. I was reading about 5 billion a day for one of the major neobank today, so it's not a tremendous amount, but it's still something that to reckon with. So yes, I mentioned collaboration. You put emphasis about it in a past event. There's announcing collaboration, actually going into collaboration. Commercial banks have a great strategy in the sense that they control the flow of payments in general. So to move money, you need one of those mega player in the industry, so those what we call those correspondent bank. They're not about to be pushed out of their functions, but for whoever is operating on the fringe of this business, we're talking private banks, small institutions that still carry a lot of deposits and the trust of their clients. They will have to collaborate with the new players, because they do not have, I would say, the scale, the know-how, the culture to reinvent themselves. They are, I would say, limited by legacy systems that they have. Their core banking platform are not agile. They would have to spend fortunes and years into development in order to be where digital native companies like ours are. We operate in the cloud. We operate seamlessly. It's all through code, and development has been done very recently. So we have the most modern technology. For them to catch up is going to be a huge task. So the easiest way is to collaborate.
Okay, lovely, Reda. Thank you so much. And a lot of work to be done, perhaps.
Definitely a long journey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.